Hello, hello, and welcome to Afternoon Focus. I'm Julie Grant.
And I'm Rob Nelson. Happy Monday, Magic Monday.
Yeah.
Why not? A lot going on this week.
It is.
Here we go again.
Yeah. You had a magic weekend celebrating little Gaby's birthday.
Oh yeah, birthday number 3.
Yeah.
He had a good time. It was. We're tired.
I bet Mom and Dad, yeah.
Yes, but he
need
had
a
a good.
rest, yeah.
Oh yes, oh yeah. So we're gonna start as we always do with some stories from the top of our feed. Let's get to it. It was a double success for Kenya at this Sunday's New York City Marathon. Evans, Chebet, and Sharon Lakiti, well, they crossed the finish line in record time, mind you. Evans clocked in 2 hours, 8 minutes, 41 seconds. Sharon crossed in 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 21 seconds. Boom.
My goodness, is that impressive. And big congratulations to all of the racers who put their best foot forward this weekend. And now another notable racer also caught our attention. So apparently that is Wrinkles the duck. Apparently he is a big social media sensation, Rob. Look at that waddle. I mean, could he be cuter?
It's cute. I'll give you that. That is cute. A little levity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the marathon. I live in New York a long time, and Marathon Day is huge. The streets are packed, and those runners are out there. You can just tell they're in the zone, and so crossing that line, no matter the time, is a huge deal. They are far more fit than I have ever been or ever will be.
Oh, I'd pass out. I couldn't do a mile, and I'm not exaggerating. I really couldn't.
That duck finished before I could.
Oh, yeah, the duck's faster than us, huh, Rob? Yeah. Wrinkles is quick. You know, speaking of our feathered friends, Thanksgiving, we know, can be kind of like right around the corner, right, this time of year. And a Missouri farm is offering a one-of-a-kind turkey this year, not to eat, but to cuddle. Have you heard of the Gentle Barn? They're awesome. Follow them on social media. You'll thank me later. They're located outside of St. Louis, and they're raising money for a small donation. You can hold and feed some friendly turkeys that the farm has on the property. They're a nonprofit that rescues abused and neglected farm animals. And they do this thing. I did it last year. I would assume they're going to do it this year, where you can be a turkey guardian if you want. Like, you make a donation, they send you a little guardian certificate for the rescues there, and like the money. So kind of on Thanksgiving, it's a way to kind of make a donation and say this turkey's not going to be slaughtered this year. He's going to live out his best life at the Gentle Barn.
Cool. I have a logistical
Sure.
question. I know that a lot of people use those emotional support animals these days. You see a lot of that on the plane or in the mall. Or I get now, you know, a bird, a puppy. The turkey strikes me as a large bird to do all of the things with. Right. So, I mean, if it works, it works. Right. More power to you.
I think the cuddling happens on the farm. I would think where there's a lot of space and
need a lot of space.
Room. Right.
Right.
That would not go well on an airplane. You're absolutely right. Or in an office. That could be, you know,
just
kind of chaotic. Right.
That would be a lot. But if it helps.
Emotional support turkey, you know.
Do your thing. If it helps, hey, whatever gets you through, I support. I support. Well, the National Education Association says the U.S. is facing a shortage of 300,000 teachers and staff. Let that sink in, 300,000 teachers and staff. So to put it a little more simply, attracting new teachers to the job is getting a whole lot harder. But as Myra Rodriguez is about to show us, one state out there may have found a pretty great solution.
Feels like a wet cotton ball.
It's time for science class at New Providence Middle School.
It's so silly.
And Sheila Holt and Sandra Kaltreiter are tasked with making sure these students make the grade.
I feel like I'm making a difference, and I love this age group. They are so funny.
When you help them and they get it, it's just an awesome feeling.
These are study guide questions.
But while Sheila has more than 20 years of teaching under her belt,
who's still working on the vocabulary?
Sandra is just starting out, and she is doing so in a unique way.
I didn't go to college before this because it's a big chunk of money, and I had my daughter, and so it's probably without this program, me personally, I probably wouldn't have been able to.
But now she's on her way to becoming a teacher through a program called Grow Your Own. It's a Tennessee program now attracting national attention.
The way we modeled our program was just like an apprenticeship.
Sean Impertris is Chief Academic Officer for the Clarksville-Montgomery County School System near the Tennessee-Kentucky border. The Grow Your Own program started here before expanding across Tennessee. It's designed to bring people with non-traditional backgrounds into the teaching profession.
For one reason or another, there was a barrier to go back to school to become a teacher, but they had the passion and many times the aptitude and the interest to do it.
Who can tell me what a balanced equation is?
So for 3 years, those in the program take college-level classes while working alongside a mentor teacher. Sheila Holt is Sandra's.
You're in that classroom every day. I didn't get that. When I did student teaching, I was in there for a semester.
So you think they're better prepared for the classroom?
I do. I think they're absolutely better prepared for the classroom.
You know what I think is really cool about that is that you might be able to explore a gift that somebody didn't know that they had for teaching, right? If they don't go the traditional route and, you know, study in college and then go on, take their exam and then student teach, you know, and all that jazz. If they just happen to be really good with kids, with other people, with passing on the knowledge.
Look, there's not any one route to anything. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I get out of that story. Is that there are other ways to get to that place. And so, listen, now as a parent, then also I can imagine when I heard my friends go through during the worst days of COVID, there's a new respect for teachers in this country. So not only is it about the actual, you know, craft of teaching, it's about patience and compassion for those kids and the ability to wear all kinds of hats in that classroom beyond the algebra problem. You know what I mean?
You're so right,
if
Rob.
they can check all those boxes, I don't care how you get in the classroom. We need all of them to get there, and we're short 300,000.
Yeah.
So
that's wild. That's really stunning.
It is. It's kind of scary. So every new one on the payroll at the school helps. So congrats to that program. Yes. Huge need. Well, we typically don't dive into politics on the show by design, but on this election eve, we do have some election stories that Reed, this is just fun stuff to know.
All good.
So who are you voting for? No, none of that. None of that. No, we're not going there. We start with the only president to be elected to more than 2 terms, of course, FDR. He was elected to his 4th and final term on this date back in 1944. The term limits on presidents didn't exist until Congress passed the 22nd Amendment 2 years after FDR died. Until then, the nation relied on the most powerful person in the world to simply follow tradition and step down after 2 terms. So it was just a custom, not a law. And that's because of both the Depression and the Second World War. So that's wow. 4 terms. Can you even imagine that in the modern age?
No.
Anyone having 4 terms or wanting to do?
What would happen? Yeah, right.
Wanting 4 terms?
It's a long time in the White House.
You think they age after 2? Yeah. Imagine after 4. Yeah.
Good night.
Oh, man.
I'm voting for Wrinkles the Duck, Rob.
There you go.
I'm voting for.
Well played.
Oh, we've got a little more election history for you now in this fun to know segment. So we're also honoring the first black man to become mayor of a major U.S. city. Did you know Carl Stokes was elected to run the city of Cleveland on this date back in 1964? The World War II veteran beat out William Howard Taft's grandson, and he's credited for saving and revitalizing the great Cuyahoga River. Well, that's very cool.
And weird, and I hope I'm not getting something wrong here. I believe that is a relative of a former colleague of mine in New York who went on, just retired as a matter of fact, Lori Stokes, who was a longtime anchor in New York, who just retired like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because there's a deep political history in her family. So the Stokes, very big in Ohio, and that whole family has done amazing things. So hi, Lori, if you're watching, and congrats on that retirement. But it shows you right there what amazing lineage, right?
Most definitely.
Yes, indeed. Finally, today we remember I know where I was when I heard it kind of moment. We all have these, right?
Sure.
We're talking about Magic Johnson. Remember this? This was so huge. Telling the world he was HIV positive back November 7th, 1991, this very date. At the time, of course, AIDS awareness was dominated by a lot of fear, a lot of ignorance about the virus, and his getting at that microphone, telling the world he had it, helped educate others. It helped eradicate some stereotypes as well. And of course, he is still with us and living well,
Looking
very
great,
well, looking
yes.
good. Today, a businessman, had a talk show at one point. I mean, he's done extremely well, and this is what 30 plus
How many years
years
later,
ago,
right?
Right?
Yeah, that was a moment. When you think you're right, that was a moment in
Huge.
history, and I love what you said there. It helped eradicate some stereotypes. Like it really helped educate many Americans who were quite ignorant about the virus that causes AIDS and transmission. And I can just remember those interviews that he did one with those little kids, and those little kids were crying and like, oh my gosh, like.
And at the time, it was, it was at a time we didn't understand as much about the disease, and it felt like a death sentence. So here, one of the biggest basketball stars or athletes, period, on the planet is saying, I have it. It led to a whole lot of discussions about how did you get it? How can you live with it? Right. I remember that press conference so, vividly. It was just, the world stopped when Magic Johnson said he had HIV. So we really, one of those moments you don't forget.
Definitely.
A long time ago. Wow. All right. Much more ahead, right here. We do it all here in Afternoon Focus. A real potpourri of
it is.
stories. We got it all covered. More fun coming up after the break. Stay with us.